Hi, Aziz. This is Michael. So I'm looking at your draft right now. Okay, so the first step is let's work on the reference page for just a minute. So, yeah, you want to do APA style, so you haven't quite figured this out, right? So, my first step is I got to clear all your formatting here. There's nothing I can do with this at this point. I got to get rid of whatever you did there formatting wise. I'm changing it because it's not looking like MLA style, right? So the first step is let's get this. Now we need to move all this over so it looks like an MLA formatted paper, right? So the second step is to go into paragraph. Let me see if I can fix this. Okay, you got double space. Let's go to hanging indent. You see what I'm doing here? I went into special. Let's see if it works. We got it. Okay, so I got one problem fixed. And let's put this on its own page. Okay, we're good. We got it. Okay, so we've now formatted this, right? The next step is let's give you a title page apart from your introduction. See what we're doing here? And let's kind of move this down. This looks like this is okay, so then you have the effect of you put teaching technology here. The next step is we need to create what's called a running head, right? So the best way to do this, I think, is to insert. Let's go to header. We have here, and then let's go back to page number. Also at the same time, let's put it up there at the top of the page. Now the key is to have this go through every see if we can get this where it's showing up on every page. Give me a quick second. Now, the only thing I can't figure out right now is this. You did something to the formatting. I'm putting what's called a running head, page 1, but I'm having trouble getting it to show up on every page. So that's one of your challenges, is to figure out how to do that. There's some kind of formatting issue going on with your document, but let's keep going. So education. I'm going to be your writing center tutor. So education development has played a major role in shaping the face of civilized societies. So not only have the developments in education resulted in the spread of knowledge, right? In this case, you don't want to separate both of these sentences with, not with a semicolon. And you want to say, but they have also increased student numbers and have encouraged a social consensus on the importance of schools and universities. In Saudi Arabia, teaching English as a foreign language is a ministry of education's first priority. All right. As an educator, the researcher followed developments in education and has researched you want to say researcher follows or researchers follow? I think present is going to work better here, not past. Developments in education and has researched teaching methods and tools, especially in connection with teaching English as a second language. Because technology, including computer labs and internet access, has affected teaching, it is needed to know which technologies complement the teaching of English in Saudi Arabia. One of the newest technologies is a smartboard interactive whiteboard. Okay? So good introduction. So we have the importance of this research. English is the most widely spoken language in the world. I'm going to give you a little bit of sentence variety here. Let's get rid of that. We can even do this, believe it or not. So we have English, the most widely spoken language in the world, aside from being used in English-speaking countries, is also used as a second language in non-English native dominant countries. Most inventions, discoveries, and new developments are presented in English or translated into the language. How about, say, something like, in fact, to help connect this? As a result of the dominance of English, Saudi Arabia focuses on teaching young students to master the language. The government aims for students to be internationally competitive and to succeed in the wake of the computer and internet revolutions. Because most new technology systems are English-based, the Saudi Arabian Ministry of Education wishes to encourage fluency in English within its educational departments and centers. Perfect. Okay, let's keep going. So we're going to the literature review now. If you follow what you're doing here, it seems like you should probably bold this to be similar to what you've done before. So you're dividing the literature review into different parts. Got good writing skills. I'm impressed. The term educational technology emerged from the 1920s in the wake of knowledge and technology revolutions. Finn called their age the age of educational technology, by which he meant to highlight the role of technological tools in preparing, managing, controlling, and planning the education process. Human resources departments are advised, I don't think you need to capitalize this, to learn the way how. You have to say either the way in which or just to learn how. So this is a grammatical error. It's a very common error. So it's the way in which to use these tools, or just say this, are advised to learn how to use these tools to meet educational targets. Brown argued that educational technology is a systematic method for designing, fulfilling, and evaluating all education processes according to specific targets. These targets should be taken from research that specializes in teaching and communication using human and non-human resources. This is brilliant. The way that you connect this back to the previous sentence, very good cohesion, Aziz. The American Communications Authority defined educational technology as a complex process involving different people, styles, thoughts, and tools to analyze education problems. I'm going to put the infinitive in there. You can omit it, but I think it's better to keep it, to find suitable solutions for them. Perfect with your citation. Instructional technology can best be understood by reviewing several definitions from scholars in the field. Yeah, I think this works. So we have different instructional technology is concerned. I would probably capitalize it here because you're kind of using it as a subject with improving the effectiveness and efficiency of learning in educational context, regardless of the nature or substance of that learning. Solutions to instructional problems might entail social as well as machine technologies. Instructional technology is a systemic and systematic application of strategies and techniques derived from behavioral and physical sciences, concepts, and other knowledge to the solution of instructional problems. And I would probably do the same thing here. It's just awkward to begin the sentence with small caps. Instructional technology consists of the media born of the communications revolution, which can be used for instructional purposes alongside the teacher textbook and blackboard. This one, I think you want to do it like that, right? So the use of such technology can be understood as a systematic way of designing, carrying out, and evaluating the total process of learning and teaching in terms of specific objectives based on research and human learning and communications, and employing a combination you got to figure out this part here. I created a new bullet for it, but maybe that's not what you're trying to do. So we got to figure out here. I don't know. Let's see what we have here. I think with APA, if you're indenting this apart from the rest of that paragraph, I don't think you need to worry about quoting there, using those quotation marks. Let me look at something here. Let me give you a quick second here. Let's take a look. Let's see what somebody does with a longer quote, how they do that here, and then you can go back and look at this idea. Let's look at a longer quote here. This is a literature review here, right? Notice how they're putting all the headings in bold. Where is it? Trying to find an example here for you. Okay, let's go to Google. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. Here, give me a quick second. We see APA writing long quotes. Start the quote in a new line, indent in 5 spaces, type the entire quotation. Let's see how they did it here. We'll go back and look at what you did. Yeah, longer quotations. Yeah, notice that they're not really putting they don't really worry about the quotation marks here. That's kind of what you're doing, right? So probably here, I think you can remove the quotations because these are kind of long. Let me give you an example of one of them. You can do the rest of them. You probably start like this. You put the period here, and then you actually put this on the outside. right? If we go back to what we did here, see how it looks here? Yeah, you put this, this is what's called a longer quote underneath it. So you can probably do it like that. That would be my recommendation on that. So you want to take all of these and do them similar to this. That's going to be more APA type formatting. Okay, you can think about all those. Let's keep going. I love this appositive. Wow, my goodness. At Al Quds Open University, Nashwan, the expert doctor, has tackled the issue of instructional technology. So I don't think you need to worry about capitalizing this. But here's a problem. You're saying at this university, and Nashwa, the expert doctor of Gaza, which one is it here? That's kind of confusing me. He can't be at both, can he? Or maybe he is. I don't know. Sounds like you're saying that Nashwan is both a professor at this university and at Gaza University. Is that your meaning? He defines such technology as an integrated process, including person styles, tools, and plans for tracing and analyzing problems. Instructional technology you might put this in according to instructional technology, according to this professor, also involves finding the most suitable solutions and evaluating them in such a way that educational targets can be directed and controlled. Two central elements of successful education processes. Now, here's what you got to look at. So you go back with education, educational targets. Now, I think you probably should go back and look at some of these terms. I think you need an adjective here based on your consistency. Nashwan suggests that without, and I'm going to throw a comma in here to separate this prepositional phrase here, that without instructional educational technology, our schools will not meet students' and parents' expectations of, let's go back here again. I want you to go through the rest of them. If you're using education before noun, let's go for educational development. It is clear that educational technology and instructional technology are similar or related terms. So here, I'm going to put coherence. I want you to better connect this paragraph to the previous paragraph, I think. So that's a coherence issue. I'll try to make this in red so you can see it when you look back at your document. Is clear educational technology, instructional technology are similar related terms. However, educational technology is more concerned with organizations and the environments in which they operate. For example, educational technology is related to books, authorship, teaching tools, training of staff and teachers. And staff is one of those collective nouns. We usually just say staff, and it's singular and plural. It's kind of a collective noun, refers to a whole bunch of people. Staff and teachers. And the construction of schools, buildings. Meanwhile, instructional technology is related to the design and evaluation of teaching processes. Examples of instructional technology include the use of projectors and smartboards in the teaching and educational process. Although educational technology, instructional technology has slightly different meanings, the terms are complementary ones. The development of teaching process consists not only You got, they consist not only of high-tech classrooms in which teachers may not be able to operate efficiently, but also of, I think you have to do this, efficient teaching methods. We have to have the parallel structure here. You said the development of teaching processes consist I'm going to say not only of high-tech classrooms, but also of efficient teaching, depending on both skilled teachers and new technologies and applications. The proposed research I'm going to say the proposed research here would consider the effects of smart boards. I'm going to say will. Why would? Why go to the hypothetical? I think this is what you're going to do, right? This is a certain thing. The proposed research here will consider the effects of smart boards in Saudi classrooms devoted to teaching English as a second language. You might say something like, furthermore, the goal of the research will be to evaluate the new tool to determine whether it contributes to better education in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. According to Scardamalia and Berruter, instructional technology has solved the problem of overcrowding. And I don't know, it looks like before when you're mentioning sources, you're using the past tense. Am I right? Not the present perfect? Let me go back to what you've been doing. You said has tackled here. You say defined technology as. Can we go back to what you said here? Yeah, I think the past tense is going to work better here. So then you say solved when it was used for those evening courses. So the evening courses in question and these researchers study use new teaching technologies, including satellites, to facilitate distant learning. I don't think you need a comma here. I would put one here. You got furthermore, Abdullah noted that the KSA always has a shortage and if you say has, you're saying that this kind of still applies today, right? So noted that the KSA always has a shortage of teachers and lecturers as a result of extreme population growth. In many ways, the KSA might be better thought of as its own continent since it is a vast peninsula with many hard-to-reach areas. I'm going to say may here. And I think you're using the adverb clause at the end, so I'm going to say comma is not needed here. For this reason, teaching technology like the smart boards are especially beneficial as they make it easy to reach those living in the desert. From the above classifications, it is understood that educational technologies are the new generation's language which keep them learning and developing. It is a new communication way it's a new communication way. I'm going to put in which, so you don't have to say way, in which they, who is they, right? In which they can grasp knowledge and transfer culture and civilization. Do you mean students? Let me go back to the previous paragraph. Yeah, the new generation, to keep them learning and developing, in which, let's say something like, I think you want to say something like, how about these learners can grasp knowledge and transfer culture and civilization. Their pen is not made with lead and wood. It is made with electrons and software. Very good use of the semicolon there, by the way. Okay, so these are my changes that I would make. So remember, you want to connect this paragraph, I think, back to the previous paragraph a little bit better. Make some minor editing changes with how you did these quotes so it looks more like an APA style type setup. I gave you some suggestions on what you can do with your reference page at the very end, right? So I fixed that. I want you to see if you can figure out how to get this running head on every page. So it'll say Teaching Technology 1, then it'll say Teaching Technology 2, and so on. So for Blackboard, you're fine. I'll give you 100 on the assignment, at least for what we're working on right now. You're way ahead of everybody else. But I hope that the comments I've given you in this video will help you move forward with the paper.